Hydroelectricity, waves and tides. There are several reasons why hydroelectric power, wave power, and tidal barrages are used. Firstly, they are all renewable sources of energy, which means that they do not produce greenhouse gas emissions or contribute to climate change. Secondly, they are all reliable sources of energy, as they are not dependent on weather conditions like wind or solar power. Finally, they are all relatively low-cost sources of energy, making them attractive options for countries looking to reduce their reliance on fossil fuels. Hydroelectric power is a form of renewable energy that harnesses the power of falling water to generate electricity. It is one of the oldest and most widely used forms of renewable energy, with hydroelectric power plants found all over the world. Hydroelectric power usually requires the flooding of a valley by building a large dam. The basic principle behind hydroelectric power is simple. Water is channeled through a turbine, which spins a generator to produce electricity. This electricity can then be used to power homes, businesses, and other buildings. There is a large impact on the environment due to the flooding of the valley and possible loss of habitat for some species. The reservoirs can also look very unsightly when they dry up, and putting hydroelectric power stations in remote valleys tends to reduce their impact on humans. The initial costs of creating these are high, but there are no fuel costs and minimal running costs. It can be a useful way to generate electricity on a small scale in remote areas. Wave power, on the other hand, is a newer form of renewable energy that uses the power of ocean waves to generate electricity. Wave power is typically generated using lots of small wave-powered turbines, which are placed in the ocean and connected to a central power grid. As the waves pass over the turbines, they cause them to spin, generating electricity in the process. There is no pollution. The main problems are disturbing the seabed and the habitats of marine animals, spoiling the views, and being a hazard to passing boats. The initial costs are high, but there are no fuel costs and minimal running costs. Wave power is never likely to provide energy on a large scale. However, it can be very useful on small islands. Tidal barrages are another form of renewable energy that harnesses the power of the sun and moon's gravity to generate electricity. Tidal barrages work by trapping water behind a dam, which is then released through turbines to generate electricity. Tidal barrages are typically located in areas with large tidal ranges, such as estuaries and bays. There is no pollution, but the main problems are preventing free access by boats, spoiling the view, and altering habitats of the wildlife. Tides are pretty reliable in the sense that they happen twice a day without fail, and always near to the predicted height. The only drawback is that the height of the tide is variable, so lower tides will provide significantly less energy than bigger spring tides. They also don't work when the water level is the same either side of the barrage. This happens 4 times a day because of the tides. Initial costs are moderately high, but there are no fuel costs and minimal running costs, even though it can only be used in some of the most suitable estuaries. Tidal power has the potential for generating a significant amount of energy.